All right. Thank you for stopping back by to Sugarbrook Brewing. This is my Homebrew Wednesday video number 2. I'd like to thank you guys all for stopping in and checking out my first video. I know it was only a couple days ago. It wasn't on the typical Wednesday format, but I want to thank you nonetheless. And yeah, I got a few subscribers out of it now, and a bunch of good comments. And you guys seem to like the brief history and appreciated me being straight with you, and so that was good. That was good. First things first, let's pour a homebrew. I've got one of my IPAs here. This is my Cooper's IPA. The cat may try and weasel her way into the footage here, but this this IPA was one that I talked about in the first video. It's again, of course, the Cooper's kit. Smells very good. Let's see if we can get this here on tape. And the cat, of course, is gonna be in my way. So this here was the Cooper's IPA. Like I said 2 or 3 times now. It was done with the hop tea as part of the Craig Tube video series. He talked about amping up an IPA kit, and basically did a 20-minute tea with this one. I've got my book somewhere, as I can probably actually grab the book here and let you guys know what I did for hops in this one. This was actually done with Columbus. If you can see there, it was Columbus hop pellets. It had a alpha acid percentage of 19.5, and so what I was trying to do with this, obviously, was add some hops and or some bitter flavor to the beer. And I think this Cooper's kit is not your traditional American or West Coast IPA, so it's a little more malty. As I guess I would explain it. Please, correct me in the comments below if I'm not characterizing that correctly. But what I tried to do was add some bitter to it, and it didn't quite work out. And understanding that hop additions throughout a 60-minute boil, the longer you boil the hops, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, the more bitter that's extracted from the hop and is present in the beer. And so you go 60-minute, you add hops, you're getting more bitter. You go to the 30-minute point, and this is where I'll need a little help. I think you're still getting more bitter, and you're starting to cross over into that aroma zone. And then when you get down into 15, 5-10-minute range, I think it's all really just aroma at that point. And so understanding that, you can kind of look at the tea method, and I guess 20 minutes you're starting to get some of the bitter, but I feel like you're still getting more of the aroma. So that's what this beer kind of turned out as. It didn't quite fulfill what I wanted to do with the beer, and so that's why I brewed the second IPA that I told you about in the last video. And that one's gonna be, I'm expecting a punch in the face as far as bitterness goes. So we'll see. This is a great beer, though. I'm gonna take a taste. This has been in the bottles here for, I'd say, about 3 to 4 weeks at this point. I'd have to go back and look at my notes, but I think it's 3 weeks. And like the bitter that I tasted the other night, that I was drinking the other night, I think on the video, it just seems to get better with age. And so we'll see. Yeah, absolutely. And that last comment there about getting better with age definitely is true of this beer as well. This one really still has that malty flavor, and I feel like the hops have settled in a little bit. I would say that there is a little bit more of a hop flavor. Not real bitter, but it does seem to have mellowed out the go on. Seem to have mellowed out the malt a little bit. So very good, very impressed. And as you can see here, the beer doesn't have much in the way of head retention, and or lacing, and that's something that I want to work on moving forward. And I'll be doing some research on that, and I'll share that research with you guys. I'm sure a lot of you guys, know more, obviously a lot more about brewing beer than I do, and I'm really kind of getting back into this, and like we talked about last week, really looking at the basics. And so, what I can do to get some head retention and get the lacing and get some of that stuff kind of dialed in this 2014 rebirth, I call it, will be a few burps there. Will be good, and I look forward to it. One thing I actually wanted to talk about this week, I talked about kind of my kegging fiasco last week, and obtaining a couple kegs and how that fell through. And one thing I touched base on already tonight, earlier, was the fact that the longer these beers condition in the bottle, the better the flavors start to kind of meld, and things start to mesh, and the beer really starts to take shape. And I wonder, and it's another question for you guys out there. How do you find when you keg a beer that works? I mean, I know I've heard of people kind of kegging a beer and letting it sit in the keg and condition for a while, but I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose of kegging. Well, I take that back. The real purpose of kegging is to, I would assume, is to cut down on bottling and cleaning all the bottles and sanitizing all the bottles and just dealing with all the bottles and having, I mean, I've got, a shelf full of bottles over there, boxes underneath me here, conditioning, cold conditioning now, bringing the temperature down from the closet upstairs and just shifting around. So, I mean, the real key to kegging, I guess, is to get rid of that. But now thinking about conditioning, am I going to tie up multiple kegs, because I want the beer to condition a little bit, or will it condition under pressure as it sits in the kegerator, I guess, is another question. And really all of this stuff, I mean, please, like I said before, comment below. If you have some input, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to get some dialogue going in the chat comments down below. And of course, I'm going to be researching this stuff, and trying to widen my knowledge base, and start to understand more about what I want to do and where I want to go with brewing. And like I said, I don't have much to talk about this week. My last video was only 4 days ago, so that's about it. Well, I know there was one other thing I wanted to touch base on. Actually, two other things, and then we'll go. I want to try and keep this week's video short. The first is I'm actually working on my next recipe. I've done, I think, 3 IPAs now, 3 of the Cooper's IPAs. I did the English Bitter, and I did a Pilsner to kind of start off. And I don't want to just get into the IPA, route and put the blinders on, and just keep making IPAs. So I'm looking for some recipes. I'm probably going to stop by the homebrew supply shop tomorrow and see which kits he's got on hand. I'll probably pick up one and then come back and build around that. I actually do have Beersmith. I made that IPA kit, the last IPA kit on there, and so this was the printout there for what I called the Hop Crazy Cooper's IPA. And that is a good one. You know, I explained that to you guys last week with the side boil, with the you know, the light DME, the dark DME, and the different hop additions, and the 60-minute boil that I had done and added to that. So I'm really excited to see how that comes out. That's actually going to be bottled this Friday night while I'm watching Craig's cast. I'll be back down here. Maybe I'll do a quick little video to add into my homebrew Wednesday video for next week, just to kind of show how that went, take the gravity reading, and do that. So yeah, I'm going to be building another kit. I'm thinking of possibly, I think I recall seeing the Cooper's Blonde and or the Cooper's the Blonde and the I can't think now, the Draft. I think I know he definitely has the Cooper's Draft and the Blonde, maybe a darker beer. I don't know, maybe I'll do a stout or something for this next one. We'll see. And the last thing I actually wanted to talk about and mention is Monday night. This previous Monday night, I actually jumped on to vaughnlive.tv and did my first cast. You know, I've got the webcam now. I'm starting to do Homebrew Wednesday videos, and the other thing I've always kind of wanted to do is do some of the brew casting with the Brew Crew, and start to kind of talk about home brewing on there, and really kind of start at ground zero and be basic and be the beginner in the crew. You know, Craig and S.J. Poor and Jake and Dar and some of the other guys that cast, you know, have a much wider knowledge of beer and home brewing and everything, and which is great. And I think, you know, I learned a lot from those guys, and the 17 Brew Crew, obviously. So what I want to do with my cast is kind of be the beginner of the group and really kind of start basic. So this week, I think, you know, I'm actually going to cast tomorrow night. I changed it. I was going to do Monday nights, but I changed it now. It's going to be Thursday nights from 10 to 1. And that'll be on vaughnlive.tv /Sugarbrook Brewing, all one word. And I'll post down in the comment section, or in the info section of this video, I'll put the link there to my page, and where you can tune in tomorrow night from 10 to 1. And yeah, so I'm going to do a couple segments, I think, throughout the cast, where I'll talk about you know, things, and then we'll play tunes, everything from classic rock to country to hip hop to whatever you guys want to request. If you guys want to, you know, want me to play something, I'm all for it. So I'm excited for that. I did the test Monday night. The webcam's working, the microphone's working, the stereo's working, or the computer rather, as far as the audio, and I actually just downloaded another program where I'm going to be able to integrate some other video and pictures and different things. So, all right, well, that's it. I'm going to go. We're at 14 minutes. I had wanted to keep this quick, and again, I just dragged on. So, I hope you all tune in for edition number 2, and we're going to keep going. Cheers, 17.